This is just a reminder to click the subscribe button. Also, if you have any questions or things you'd like to learn, please leave those in the comments. So the number one question I've been asked is how to tell a buck track from a doe track. It's not so much the singular size track. Don't get me wrong, if there's a huge track, probably a buck. But it's easier to tell by the whole set of tracks. Here's an old set of tracks. They've been snowed in. But this is a buck right here. You can see how far apart they are widthwise. So it's not so much just a singular track, it's the set of tracks. So a set of tracks is going up through here, you can see is staggered. Right here we have a doe track, and you can see that because of how narrow it is here to here, how wide the deer is. This doe just walked. I mean, this is an old track. It's snowed in, but this is a doe that's walked up through here. You can see that she's almost walking 1 foot in front of the other because she's real narrow chested. Here's a running set of tracks right here. Now this deer here isn't very big. All 4 of its hooves are fitting in this one spot right here. Now, if this had been a big deer, you'd have noticed like where you could see the 2 back feet and then the 2 front feet up front. But it's so small that all 4 of its hooves are fitting in the same circle. So without following any farther, I would just assume that this is a doe because it's not a very big deer. So this isn't a very big buck. You can see it's a buck nonetheless. Staggered track. Not very big, I'm going to say 120 pounds, 130 pounds. Billy goated it right up through there. Again, another buck track. See, he's staggered. This one's dragging his feet a little. That sometimes also tells you bucks are a little lazier, like to drag their feet. They don't pick them up very far. They all seem to be down in here getting a drink. Water probably runs here all winter. So I come down off of this top, come down in here where the water is to get a drink. That seems to be what they're doing. There's a doe track right here, a little bugger. This doe walks up through here. You can see their tracks are almost right behind each other. One they're almost right in line. This is 2 sets of deer. This is 2 does that walked up through here. See, they're like right behind each other. Just want to touch on the fact that like there are big does too. So, you know, you get 150 to 170 pound doe, that can get confusing. I mean, you might decide it's a buck. So the way that I do that is usually within the first 300 yards, the deer walks through somewhere that shows me it doesn't have much of a rack on its head. So that I would eliminate that, because I would decide at that point that I didn't want to track that deer, whether it be a buck or a doe, if it hadn't given me any inclination previous to that, stuck its nose in the snow, left me some horn marks, rubbed a tree, made a scrape, you know, the way it peed on the ground, whether it was a single hole. If it's a single hole, you're looking at a doe. You know, if it peed and dribbled all over, then you know, then you'd confirm that it's a buck. So you kind of have to put the whole thing together, because there is that like 1% chance that there's a big doe that you're following instead of buck. The only real way that you're going to get better at looking at tracks is to physically go out and do it. You can watch all these videos, you can look at pictures, but until you get out in the woods and start following some tracks around, you're really not going to understand it or get any better at it. There's no replacement for experience, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So you got to get outside and follow some tracks around, and then you'll understand better.